Hi everyone, my name is Anise and I'll be presenting Resisting Empire through counter aesthetics. Today I'm focusing on how artists, poets, and art activists, push back against American empire and surveillance. Instead of using violence or military force, they resist by creating new ways of seeing, imagining, and remembering. They use art, photography, performance, and poetry to show lives that empire tries to erase or control. This kind of resistance, I think, is powerful because it challenges how we understand power and belonging. So these are just the things that I'll be going over today. So soft power, resistance in art and activism, listening to images, and counter aesthetics. So soft power. Empire today doesn't always look like colonization or direct violence. It can work through soft power, which is using culture, security, and ideas like freedom to make domination seem natural. After 9/11, the idea of homeland security made surveillance and racial profiling feel acceptable because it was framed as protecting American values. Understanding soft power shows how deeply empire shapes our everyday lives without always noticing it. Resistance in art and activism. Resistance isn't just about protesting in the streets. Artists, poets, and activists resist empire by making work that refuses to accept the empire's version of reality. They create new images, performances, and poems that highlight survival, memory, and dignity. Their work interprets the stories that empire, it interrupts, the stories that empires tell, stories that are often criminalized or they dehumanize marginalized people. Listening to images, Tina Campt argues that when we listen to images, we can sense quiet acts of resistance, photos that seem ordinary, like ID photos or passport pictures, actually carry signs of survival. Listening to images help us to recognize the small ways that people hold on to their dignity, even when the empire tries to erase it. Artists use the idea by Artists use this idea by creating work that bring out the hidden emotions and stories inside everyday images. Counter aesthetics means creating new ways of seeing that refuse the empire's control instead of repeating images of fear, danger, and exclusion. Artists create work that show belonging, survival, and humanity. Counter aesthetics gives people the power to imagine futures beyond the empire, futures built around community, dignity, and resistance. Guantanamo Bay is a clear example of how empire tries to erase humanity. Prisoners were shown as faceless threats to justify indefinite detention and violence. Artists and activists challenged this by creating mem memorials, photos, and performances that made detainees visible again, showing their names, faces, and personal story. This work is a form of counter-aesthetics that disrupts empire's attempt to hide its violence. These are just my references, and thank you.